Potholes and Penguins
with Barry and Trimby.
Hello and you're very welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Pothole. On this week's Weekly Pothole, we are delighted to say for the first time ever, we are bringing all our penguins to South America. And where to, may you ask? Buenos Aires in Argentina. Would you ever find a penguin in? I'll tell you, Federico Pucciariello. If he was a penguin, if he was an animal, he'd be a penguin. Quite penguin-like. Quite like Danny DeVito in
Batman.
In Batman.
Yeah, he bit my nose off one time actually playing against you boys.
Same little walk. So would Maradona, I reckon. Maradona would be quite penguinish, wouldn't he?
Good at holding the ball between his feet like he's young.
Loves the bit of snow.
Hey.
There you go.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Yeah, well, very clever.
We have Federico Pucciariello, former Munster prop. Could play both sides. Once played hooker, I think, for Munster. I would be corrected if I'm not right. We'll ask him that.
Jeez, that's a thing of the past. That's a thing of the past playing both sides, isn't it?
Isn't it? He was just
Don't get any of those now.
an expert on many things, according to himself. So we'll get him on. I've got such a load of stuff that I want to get through, such a variety. Very interesting fella and hilarious man. Loved by people of Munster and of Limerick. So we'll get him on in about 15 minutes, but we've a bit of rugby to catch up on first because the Irish team was announced today. We can talk a little bit about the Pro 14 games that we missed on Monday night. Trimby, I know you were commentating for the Ulster one. And we'll look ahead to all the weekend's rugby. We have in front of us a delicious beer, though. Tell us what we have, Trimby. We each have the same beer.
We do, yeah. We're showcasing. There's a lovely little craft brewery in Belfast called Boundary, and our good friends at Boundary Brewery have sent us a few crafties to enjoy. So the first one, this week's brew, is I Declare Bankruptcy.
Call the accountant, lads. Call the accountant.
Can we open them on a 1, 2, 3, Dermy?
Yeah.
Listen to how delicious these sound, lads. 1, 2, 3. Slug.
So I declare bankruptcy is dry hopped. I don't know what that means. Its ingredients include Chinook, Cascade, and Simcoe. I, for one, am not familiar with any of those.
Are they pop singers from the 1990s? Cascada, Dido, and Eminem.
That was a type of shampoo, no?
It's a helicopter, a Chinook helicopter. And you know what? See, if you really think about it, you can taste helicopter in there.
Well, you can. You're not wrong.
You can.
Yeah.
So Boundary Brewery is
it tastes like a helicopter in Vancouver. While you're wearing.
That sounds like a story. That sounds like a story specifically.
I just don't know where you'd be in a bar in Vancouver where everyone has mustaches and little woolly hats and they're drinking beer like this.
The West End in Galway or Vancouver could be either.
You're such a rock star, boys. I've never even been to Vancouver.
That's great. They'd love you over there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Moscow.
Go on anyway. It's delicious. Wow.
Oh, it is tasty. So, Boundary Brewery is a co-op. Again, don't know what that is. In fact,
what do you want to go up to?
It's a coop.
It's a coop.
There's a load of lads inside the thing that looks like a chicken, and there's a chicken running around. They're inside the chicken coop. It's called the beer coop, and they don't call it beer coop. It's a beer co-op.
So a co-op, I looked it up. A co-op is a Middle Eastern royal family with ties to terrorism. So I don't mind. If you don't mind, I don't mind as long as they keep sending us delicious beers.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you can, if you're a penguin at home, you want to get involved, you can go on to boundarybrewing.coop. .co-op and type in the discount code Will Addison in capital letters, all one word.
How will I know if he really loves me? I say a prayer with every heartbeat.
10% off.
Come on, what's thank you in Russian?
Konnichiwa.
Cormagat, Boundary Brewery, you're delicious.
Mm.
What you say is in it
Bit of
again?
rugger. Helicopters, 80s pop stars, and what was the other thing?
Shampoo.
No more tears. Loads of tears, in fact. We'd be wrestling each other here on the ground by the end of the podcast.
6 of them, yeah, there'd be plenty of fucking tears.
Imagine if that was the branding that they put on it. Loads more tears with a few bottles of these.
Get them in your eyes. It's after getting in my eyes again.
Get that out your eyes.
Okay, the Irish team to play England on Saturday in Twickenham. Cian Healy, Ron Keller, Andrew Porter, Quinn Rue and James Ryan, captain. CJ Stander, Peter O'Mahony and Caelan Doris in the back row. Jameson, Gibson, Park and Ross Byrne at 9 and 10. Bundy Aki and Chris Farrell make up a huge centre partnership with Keith Earls and James Lowe on the wings and Hugo Keenan full back. Rob Herring, Ed Byrne, Finlay Beelum, Ian Henderson, Will Connors, Conor Murray, Billy Burns and Jacob Stockdale on the bench. What you make of that, Trimby?
Jeez, where do you start, lad?
Number one.
There's literally there's nowhere picks itself. There's just not a surprise, but there was a position up for grabs everywhere. Ronan Kelleher, I know a lot of people have been pushing for that. I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand the line out enough, or any set piece. To be fair, but I don't know if Rob Herring's done enough to get dropped. Enough wrong to get dropped. But anyway, I know Kelleher's going unbelievably well. Quinn Rue, to be fair, has come from nowhere, put in a massive shift. I thought he deserved to get in there, didn't he?
I think so. He was good last week. The set piece was so good. There was a lot of talk on that. And, there was a lot of talk last year about going into the World Cup about the ballast that the needs in the second row.
Ballast that word was invented for second row discussions, wasn't it? Yeah, the word ballast.
Yeah, Fla must have said that 100 times last year. And then we just kept repeating because we thought we knew what we were talking about. But it was pretty evident last week. So the way I look at that is he'll get through a ton of work. Then you've Ian Henderson to bring off the bench, and hopefully he'll just come on and do damage. And that is something that we may have lacked in the last while, is a killer bench to come on and finish the job for us. And with the bench that's there, I think you'll see with the likes of Conor Murray, Jacob and Ian Henderson in particular. And Will Connors. Will Connors in there as well?
Yeah, Will Connors, he hasn't done enough to get dropped. In fact, I was surprised by that. I know O'Mahony's gone well. I wouldn't look at it
as a drop, personally. I would look at it as they're trying something. And I think with Van der Fleer and Will Connors, you're getting a very particular type of seven. With Peter, you're getting an unbelievable line-out operator. When Peter's on his game and he can... he do his bread and butter around the pitch, then he has the added bonus of getting in everyone's face at a line out. He's one of our best competitive line out jumpers, getting him up at 2. And it's something that we've struggled with over in England for the last few times, is our line out, both attack and defensively. So that's one reason I think he's in there. And it's just to try it. It's a backward that we haven't really seen before, with CJ just letting him off at 6 to do whatever damage he can do, let Pete be a nuisance, and then Doris hopefully becomes that footballing 8 that we have lacked since Jamie Heaslip.
Yeah, I agree. I understand the CJ at 6, Doris at 8. I just think Will Connors has been incredible, and it's not like he has a purple patch and then he dies off. He is an 80-minute man. He will continue to go and go and go. And Pete, to be fair, has done really well. I think Pete being selected probably has more to do with James Ryan being a captain and wanting some support for him in terms of leadership, which is massive. I'm not writing that off. That's really important. That's the main rationale. I would have been interested if Sexton had been fit to see if O'Mahony would have been selected. No, it's strange.
It is. It's a very fair point, because Pete would have probably done a bit more damage potentially off the bench than Connors would. More suitable maybe to coming on and just being particular player that will impact the game, whereas Connors, as he said, can play for 80 minutes and he's just got that motor and that engine that will keep going. So you just let him at it. But I don't know. I'm excited about just the change in dynamic. And then 9 and 10,
Gibson Park.
Yeah, Did enough to stay in
Yeah,
there.
he's been Cooney's been pumping the two penny nudger, and Jameson Gibson Park just comes in and collects. So fair play to him. Great timing. Great timing. But as you say, like, I know you spotted this, but probably a week earlier than most people. Probably about 6 months or a couple of years later than all Leinster supporters, but just a week earlier than me.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I know.
but
think
he's been going so well.
Yeah, he has, and it's he's been behind Luke McGrath for a long time, Leinster, so it's hard for him to have stood out a huge amount because not getting to play in those big games and start them. But what was always impressed me is his ability to create scores, and I think he's learned a lot over the last few years in just getting as many games under his belt. But being able to come on in those big games for Leinster and make a huge impact stood to him. And yeah, I think, again, with Murray on the bench, Murray came on and did so well last week, even though it was a 10. And again, similar to how Pete has reacted to being dropped, I hope that this does the same for Connor, that it just gives him a change, maybe takes the pressure off him a little bit, because he's an unbelievable player and he shouldn't have the amount of pressure on him that it has been on him for the last few years. It's not fair, actually, I think. So you give him a little bit of space, almost. The pressure is taken over by Gibson Park, which will be less because there's not a huge amount expected from him. And I think it's got to be beneficial to the squad all around. And
I think so, and I think it's fair enough. Ross Byrne at 10 is absolutely fair enough. We thought maybe Billy Burns, if he had been fit, but he obviously is fit. He's on the bench. I know we talked about Murray.
I think we're the only ones who thought that, by the way. Every other pundit is like, no way, you must be mad.
Yeah, but even us having that conversation, I still didn't really know if we were being serious or not, because it's such a bizarre. I know you were. Not sure if I was being serious. It's such a bizarre, like, get to that age and then just change position. Like, it was in hindsight. No, and to be fair, didn't Farrell mention that it was realistic?
He did, but to be fair, what I read into that was that he was.
He listens. He's a penguin.
Yeah. Do you know what? These guys are onto something. Let's see what we can get him to agree to next week. I think what he was saying was that he's obviously a realistic option because it could happen so easily that he's on the pitch and he might have to go into 10. We saw how easy it happened last week, so I think he's just saying it because he's not going to say, nah, he's not a realistic option.
Yeah.
Oh, no way, man. That guy, jeez. To watch that last few minutes through my hands. I'd say he's just covering all bases there, but look, I still think, obviously, it's. I was only saying if Burns was out and if Sexton were out, then why not? But I don't know.
Why not?
In hindsight, be pretty harsh.
That's his rationale. That's his rationale. Why did you pick Murphy at 10? Why not?
Why not?
Sure, who cares?
Yeah, 12 and 13 probably picked itself. Really, to be honest, they were the only two that were fully fit and going up against England, having two powerhouses like that in the side, even though it's their
that's a slight disservice to Farrell, though, because I think Farrell's done well enough to get in if the other lads were fit.
Yeah,
maybe not Ringrose, but he was brilliant. Yeah, he's class.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one. It's a tough position at the moment when everyone is fit. But I'm pretty confident. Bundy had a tough game there last year in Twickenham. But look, we know how good he is. Once he in front of an empty stadium as well, he'll get them going.
He's the empty stadium specialist, isn't he?
He is. And alongside his buddy, fellow Kiwi, James Lowe. Obviously, there was no moving him, but brilliant to see Earlsey back. And I think I'd be just keen to see how the three of them react to probably getting peppered with a lot of ball, right? As you've talked about before, Andy Farrell puts a lot of pressure on his wingers, right? So they're going to be have to be on top of their game this weekend.
He puts a lot of he does put a lot of pressure on the wingers, and then in turn, that puts a lot of pressure on the fullback as well. Keenan, he hasn't got experience playing there, so it is a big ask. He's been under the radar the last couple of games, so no doubt he can do it. He's got the skill set to do it. He seems like a smart rugby player as well. He knows his way around that backfield. I hope that backfield, England go after that. Like the last time they played in March time, February time, they got so much joy to that backfield. They got 2 tries out of that. Jacob and then Johnny slipping. Like they'll go after that backfield. They did the same thing to Henshaw when he was playing fullback for the first time. So it's a big ask for Keenan, but no doubt he's capable. And I hope he goes all right.
Yeah, I think George Ford was injured potentially, but he's just, as I heard in the news coming in there, he's been cleared, so he'll be in, I'd say, at 10 with Farrell at 12 and Slade at 13, I'd imagine. Look, it's going to be a brilliant game. I can't wait. Hopefully the weather's decent and we put up a better show than we have the last few times. And then, as I said, brilliant bench to come on. I'm very excited to see Jacob coming off the bench, and I think Billy Burns as well. Be keen. I think he'll definitely get a decent run. That's, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So, yeah, all ahead of us, lads. Thanks for all your advice on dodgy boxes as well. I've been inundated with the illegality of the interweb. Thanks a million, lads. You dodgy bastards. Right, what have we got? We have... so there's loads of rugby going on. There's Pro 14. The Premiership is back. Argentina now have to face Australia in Newcastle on Saturday morning. So we're going to get Federico Pucciariello on to tell us what he thinks, and also what it's like in the ground of Buenos Aires after they beat the All Blacks last weekend. I'm sure that was unbelievable. Before we go, here's a snippet of a brand new Hermitage Green song, which is coming out tomorrow. It's called My Love. Hope you enjoy it.
Oh, my love, queen of the city, green and white and all the rest. You float around poor man's shore like pity. My treaty stone, my castle walls and my crest. I feel love when I'm with you, falling through this city with pride. When you're gone, oh Christ, how I miss you. Nothing left but to ebb and flow with the tide. I'll leave when I'm crawling up the walls. I'll bleed every time you come to call. I need to feel loving from within. But it seems that your patience here it is wearing thin. Yes, it seems that your patience here it is wearing thin.
Welcome to the show, Federico Pucciariello. Feddy, you are one of the most passionate and proud men I know from the best of times. But describe to me, please, what was it like for you seeing Argentina beat the All Blacks for the first time ever on Saturday?
Oh, look, Barry, it was amazing for the country, especially in this year, 2020. It was very difficult for Argentina, as it was difficult for the whole world. But when you are in the developing country, economy is very important, and the history of success in those kind of countries, they're very, really, really rare. And in this case, the Pumas was like a shower of hope for everybody here. It was in every news, in every radio, television, politicians, even the president talking about the game. So it was quite a phenomenal. And for me, I think it was like it kind of closed the system. Argentina changed the training system 10 years ago. We create this local high training facilities, and every player in that field came out from this new system.
Wow.
And it was the first time it happened. So we was delighted to see that the system is working.
Yeah. That's pretty heavy. Did the players have that going into the game? Was that pressure on them? You better not fuck this up. The whole country is relying on you.
Argentina is quite special in collective sport. As you can see in soccer, the whole country is behind the soccer players. But as well in polo, in basketball, especially in rugby. It's the second sport in the country, so rugby for us is very important. We have in every school, we have 1,000 of clubs around the country, and I believe it is. They knew the pressure they have. They knew that they need to do something differently, something different, and they really realized that it was history for everybody. Their player, for example, the center, the 12th, it was the first game. It was the debut. He's from Rosario.
No way.
And it was amazing.
Freddy, you mentioned a few kind of Argentinian heavyweight sports, basketball, football, polo. Have Argentina ever won anything and not cried afterwards?
But no, and I will explain why. It's actually a video, and I will send it to you, Barry, that the Pumas did after the game. It was quite amazing. I don't know who did the job, because 10 minutes after the game was finished, the video was in every social media, in every social network around the country. And they're showing the strength of this guy, the effort they did for 2 months and everything. But what happened?
Yeah, it was Sanchez. It was Sanchez running around the apartment and the nine passing in the garage, and it was that video, isn't it?
Yes, eating outside the hotel, all the thing. Yeah. So the country loved that video, but this video was released 10 minutes after the game. So I don't know how they did it or who. So they was very confident. If somebody did that video before, the timing. But what happened is in Argentina, everything is uphill. The government doesn't help you for sport. Every facility in the sport here is private. And if you want to play rugby, you need to pay. So, and we pay a lot of money to play rugby, as well as polo, as well as basket, as well as every sport. So basically, when you win, you really do a hard work to arrive to achieve something very, really big. That's why the Argentinian people is crying after victory.
The song is "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina." That's the thing. Don't cry.
To keep
cry.
She's
telling you, Madonna is telling you, don't cry. Oh, come here. Where were you? It's always that moment. Where were you when Argentina beat the All Blacks? So were you at home?
In my home, the boys, my kids, they create groups. They went to do a pajama party because the game here was 3:00 in the morning. So they did a pajama party, and after a big party after the game, they stay up all night. So I went to sleep after the game.
Oh, you're old. You've changed, Feddy.
Unbelievable. I am old, Barry.
It was truly an incredible performance. It really was, and it is when you consider how long that they. What was it? 16 months they hadn't played a game and hadn't, properly trained together. And Mario Ledesma said afterwards that for the first time they had started playing like Argentinians before they had been trying to play like other teams and imitate other teams. What does that mean? Like for you, what did that mean to you?
But it was pretty clear. For instance, we the convocation, so the calling of the tight head, then he didn't play for the Pumas for the last 10 years. It was an amazing player. The Argentinians team and the Argentinians play is very easy. First of all, scrum. And for the first time, they did an amazing skirmisher the other day. They was very up of the All Blacks skirmishing. After possession and thirst, tackling everywhere. Tackling. So defense. And they did. And in the last few games, they tried to copy because the Argentinian players, we don't have maybe naturally the fitness than other countries have. So we need to balance that kind of lack of fitness than with more training and with less skill and more rough game. So I believe the pack was just amazing. The centers, there was a wall, and with basic things, they start to be as an Argentinian game. If you see Argentina in '99 World Cup, in 2003 World Cup, and 2007, there was forwards, a good defense, and that's what the build-up of the Argentinian team when it arrived third in the World Cup.
And well, what impressed me was the passion and the effort and the aggression, but it was still very controlled. So there was, there wasn't a massive amount of ill discipline. You didn't see any high tackles, no yellow cards, and that was for me was quite surprising because when I played with you, your discipline was terrible.
But, we was from the old generation, Barry.
Hey, don't drag me into that. Don't drag me into this. This is you.
It's changed.
I remember you coming off the field going, "This is disgraceful!" Like you were calling for like you wanted politicians to get involved. You needed to and then we'd Monday morning we'd go in and look at the video, and Feddy would just have rooted some fella up the arse. You kicked Bret Cobain up the arse one time, and you got yellow carded.
And you know what's a funny thing? Then I think it was a big change from Argentinian perspective, and that is because the young fellas they training under this system, then they teaching them discipline. In my years, nobody teach me discipline. Actually, it was the opposite. You need to be tough. You need to be in a war, and it's a live game. It's not. It's a live dead game. It's not just a game. But the new generation of Argentinian players is completely different, and you can see on the leader, the captain. It was an amazing leader. Even when as he says to the referee after he discussed to the referee, I said, "Look, I will not allow nobody touch another Argentinian player."
Yeah.
And he was there and talking to the referee as he was equal.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. But he says in a respectful way. In other time, it was maybe different.
Yeah, he must be like a superhero to your two boys now, is he? Pablo Matera.
Yeah, Matera, I know him very well. Actually, we live just across the street from his cousin.
No way.
And yeah, he's a great guy. And as well, like Kramer, he's from Rosario. He's not from here, but he did his career here. He came from outside near Rosario.
Wow. So your club, Jockey Club, isn't that what the name of your club is?
Yeah, but they're not coming from my club. They're different clubs in Rosario.
Okay.
Yeah. The one
is that the club we were at in 2007, Barry?
It is.
Yeah.
Feddy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It was my you came to my club. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But not this player, they're not from my club. One is from Duendes and the other one is from Atlético de Rosario. Two very old clubs.
Yeah. Trimby, what's your memory of that?
Not very much. To be fair, not very much. But Feddy, you had a big reputation. Obviously, we'd played against you, so we knew you on the pitch, but we didn't realize how big your a reputation you had off the pitch. The character, the stories. I've heard an awful lot of stories. Very funny stuff. Ready?
El Presidente of Rosario. Yes.
Yeah. Cutting off clamps to your car at UL, all great stuff.
Jesus, I didn't know I was that famous for that.
Oh, you're a big name back home, Freddy.
You were like the Robin Hood of the University of Limerick because you you would
It was so unfair, Barry.
you would get
We
your
should
car.
have walked there. You know? Wait, we need to park in there. We went to training, and, and they clap in our cars. That was so respectful.
Yes.
You know, I can allow that.
You're yes, that's would you think Pablo Matera would have gone down to B&Q and bought himself a chainsaw
I don't know, but you know, I don't know. But
and
you know,
sawed
I
off
have bad influence
sawed off
as
the
well.
clamp
Really
and then
wasn't right influence for me.
not only that, but you stayed around and you waited for all the students to come, and then you offered to do the same for their cars. So you were like the Che Guevara of UL, just like Viva la Revolution.
Yeah, but what happened after they came to me and says, "Look, we lose already like 4 clamping, so they're costly. So how we can arrange that? I need a parking lot for me every time I arrive here, and that's it. And after that, I have my parking lot. I have a meeting with Dave in the White House.
Yeah,
In the UN. And I give him back the clamping to them after.
Who's Dave?
Dave Mahidi is he was the director of sport in the University of Limerick.
Yeah.
I have a meeting with Dave.
And
You had a meeting with Dave to give him back the clamp. Oh, that's golden. So you.
And Limerick is a great town.
It is. We the people of Limerick. We put out on Facebook earlier on that we were going to get you on, and did they have anything they wanted to say? And it was just a pouring of love towards you, the man, the myth, the legend that is Federico Pucciariello. So they miss you very much.
You'd have been one of the first kind of foreign signings at Munster, wouldn't you? There would have been.
Yeah, it was. I was one of the first. It was Alan Gaffney actually signed me. It was brilliant for me. I decided to have my son is from Limerick, so his Irish passport. I still have my houses there. I come in there every year to watching a game. This year, unfortunately, for this band of traveling, I couldn't. But it's a very important town. It's marking my life forever. I have friends there like they was my family, and everybody treat me. I still remember the first time I arrived to the Clarion Hotel in Limerick when the club put me there, and I've been there for 3 months because I didn't find the house for 3 months. In the lift, the first day I arrived, I was with my wife, and on the lift, everybody on every floor came into the lift, and everybody with a smile. And outside was raining, dark. And so for me, I say, okay, well, weather, I don't know. But everybody in this floor say hello with a smile in the face. And that's never happened to me before. I said, Jesus, this is kind of a joke or what? I said, what happened? Nobody know me at the time.
Yeah.
It was the first day.
Look, I think you...
That shocked me.
Yeah. And yourself and your wife, Carlotta, were the same towards everyone else, though. I think that's why everyone remembers you and loved you so much when you were here, and the 2 boys as well. I mean, I still talk about you all the time, and like your son Martino must have been 4, and he was better. He could speak better English than you could. He could speak
Absolutely.
He could speak Spanish to you. He could speak Italian to your wife. She's Italian. Speak English to me. I was like, this guy, and then Alberto, the second son, came along.
Very sad.
And he was a big boy.
Huge.
So I remember Martino's there and he was playing with your phone and he's like using your phone like as if, and you were like, he's going to be maybe an accountant or an architect or business. And I was like, what about Alberto? And Alberto grabbed the phone and just put it in his mouth and started chewing on the phone.
He goes to the port,
to
the harbor, with a sugar bag of 50 kilos. That's his kid job. He's 12 years old now, and he's massive.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, that was my question, what position has that replicated their positions in rugby? Is Martino a creative little 10?
Martino's number 10.
Of course. And
brilliant.
Is he?
Good thinker, and the other guy doesn't feel in pain. He cutting himself with everybody. So he have more stitches now, and he's 12. He have already like 50 stitches on the face, on the leg. I said, you are a Limerick guy. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. You got to send them over, man. Jeez, send them over to Munster or
But
Limerick.
Martino was in Limerick last year in UL for a trial because I want him to study in UL. So he's been there for a month in Limerick
Okay, well,
by himself.
yeah, well, hopefully when this, we'll look after him. We'll look after him, Feddy, just like we looked after you.
Yeah. But I told him he doesn't need to use a car in UL. So maybe I give you a bicycle or something, so they can clamp in the bicycle.
Well, if he drives anything like you, that's probably a good thing as well, because you're a crazy, crazy driver.
I still remember when the police came to my house after. Jesus, the face of Carlota said, "Look, it's a policeman with guns on the door," and it was Arthur. And Arthur came to my house and says, "Look, Freddy, I have the judge order, but I wanted to bring it myself." I said, "Arthur, you're unbelievable." So he came
for speeding.
It was not even speeding. A truck guy or whatever, he denounced me. When we have a game in Cork, so Limerick, Cork, I was with Carlotta in my Mini S. I just passing a truck. I didn't remember because I maybe passing him at 180 kilometers per hour. I don't know. And he was at 90. So for him, maybe it was so speedy, but I have habit to go 230. So it was like a normal. No, I'm shocking a little bit, but I was maybe.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I've been in the car with you. You asked me once, do you want to go to the 230 club? I was like, what is that? And you went, club. Hold on. Club. Yeah. Anyway, go on. So this guy wasn't happy with this.
At some stage, he was a policeman in the middle of the street. I said, Carlotta, maybe it was an accident or something. Okay, slowing down. I stopped the car. And after I started to see the policeman all coming into my car. And I said, what is that? It was a block on the middle of the Limerick Cork Road. And nothing. The policeman came in. I want to open the door. And he said, no. Put the hands on the wheel. Don't open the door. And they start to treat me badly. And after they understood, I said, look, I have to go to play the game. We play. And the guy recognized me there. And after like 10 minutes, arrive in this truck. And the guy came down and say, why you're crazy? Because I didn't understand nothing what he says. It was near to New Topo House, actually. And these guys, for me, the story was finished there. And after 3 weeks, Arthur came with the order to go to the tribunal because he make a complaint. So I went to the tribunal after with all the judge and everything. And at the end, we arranged a monster jersey signing by the whole team for his son's school. And that's it. Jesus Christ.
Oh, the good old days in Ireland. What I love about when you're in the car with you and you're driving that fast is Trimby, he used to have Titanic, the soundtrack playing in the car. not like this, not even the singing, just the actual movie music
sound.
Yeah, just the sound of the ship and stuff and different and he'd be there singing along. La, 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 la,
he just holds you up through the sunroof and says, "Barry, you're the king of the world."
I'm still now I love Transformers soundtrack, so I am in the Transformers, Steve Jablonsky, all that thing. I love it.
Well, I was going to ask you. You once said to me, I don't know what brought it up, but you once said to me that you believe that aliens placed us on this planet, or at least they placed some of the most influential people on this planet, like Jesus and Galileo and Einstein and so on, that you feel like beings from another planet. And Feddy, we always talk about aliens on the show, so it's okay. You're in a safe place.
I'm not sure if there are aliens from other planets, but at least time travelers, because it's so weird that only 10 people change completely humanity. If you see timeline in history, there are very few people did a real difference. Like discover that the Earth was a circle, then the universe was in this way, then all the law Newton with the physics law. The rest of us, we are ants. we just go around sugar, and like we are not really clever, but there are quite a few people completely different, and they change world forever.
Okay, so you believe in time travel. You think that's
Yeah,
how
I
it has
believe.
happened?
Yeah, Jules Verne. I love. I read in every Jules Verne book how a guy that never even go out of his house talking about nuclear submarines, Cape Canaveral, launch for the moon. That was crazy. 100 years before.
I remember when we talked about this, you asked me about you tried to explain Einstein's theory of relativity to me, and you got two sugar lumps and put them on the table and asked me a few questions. But a lot of our listeners might not know what that is. Would you explain Einstein's theory of relativity to us?
Basically, time space is bent. So if you put 2 points, A to B, and you asking every person what is the straight line you can travel into point A to point B, and everybody else, it was crossing a line from the 2 points. But if you make the relativity formula and you put speed light of warp speed, actually you can bend the space, and the 2 points, they're the same. So basically, the straight point is to arrive into traveling at that speed, and you change the space around us. That's the theory. So basically, someday maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I think I said the straight line, and you said, yes, this is what the monkey says, Barry.
No, the most people, it's normal. Like in rugby, if I have to go straight, go straight.
Yeah, but if you could
Yeah.
bend the rugby pitch, wouldn't that be so much easier?
It's just
Yeah, I think there
everything.
was a similar explanation in Interstellar. Matthew McConaughey gave the same explanation. And do you think, so if you travel at the speed of light, then space, time, and matter kind of change. So maybe did your son travel at the speed of light, and that's why he's so big? Maybe that's one explanation.
No,
He
the
would.
explanation is maybe it's not my son. I don't know, because it is too big. No, actually, in my family we have some huge guys, like they different genetics from my dad's size, but he's taller than me, and he's 12, and yeah, so it's quite weird. But look, it's all kind of theories and things, and we never knew at the end. We need to enjoy life. That's the message.
You certainly enjoyed life in Munster. If you were to look back at that period, I mean, your rugby career, and it was looking at it today, you had an incredible rugby career. You moved to Italy when you were a young man, went to Parma, and had an opportunity to play for Italy. You were through your family, you were qualified. Played in Six Nations, played in the World Cup, then went to play in France. You played in the Premiership with Gloucester, and you moved to Munster and you win 2 Heineken Cups and a Magners League, and were a part of something very special. Have you any memory? What's your favourite memory, I suppose, from your career? From
Look,
Munster?
everybody will see maybe the final in 2006. But in my feelings, the best memories I have is to meet all of you guys, to feeling to be part of something very big. That not only sport, not only rugby, not only a result on the game. Then we was very a band of brother inside the pitch and outside the pitch. Then I never feel in that in other teams, and I play many as you said. I won the Premiership in Gloucester in 2000. We won the final in Twickenham against Bristol. And it was completely different. We have a great team in Gloucester. Phil Vickery was there. Andy Gomarsal was there. Trevor Woodman was there. So the front row of the England 2003 champions was there. To the center. But the thing we created in Munster was something unique, absolutely unique. So my best memory is to know all of you guys, really.
Yeah, I think I remember that Gloucester game in the semi-final in, was that 2008, when you weren't supposed to be playing. You were supposed to be on the you were the 24th man
I
traveling
was
to Gloucester in the
23,
semi-final.
24 with the tie, nothing to do.
Yeah, I think I was on the bench that day, and suddenly Marcus Horn pulls out a few minutes before before kickoff, and you had done a fitness session already,
Bastard.
right?
Yeah, 7:00, Paul Derbyshire, tock, tock, bang the door of my room. Say, look, we have training, whatever. And he did me the training. You remember the row with 150 meters in 30 seconds.
Yes.
And after push, press, and after again on the row, and after rowing with the back. So I finished the training session after 45 minutes, destroyed completely. So I went to breakfast. And actually, the night before, I was in the house of the tie head of Gloucester, because in Argentina. So I went to the house of Chango Nieto because he have his new son. Because I was 24, so I didn't play. And after I went to the game, I was very tired. And I was talking with the guy, the guardian of the stadium. And Jerry Holland came and says, Freddy, go in. You need to play. I said, okay, yes, Jerry, I go in. I thought he was joking. I said, good joke, Jerry. And after like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, his Deki arrived. Freddy, what are you fucking doing? You have to play. I want to play. Me? No, it's not possible. I don't even have the clothes. I leave my bag in the bus. I said, look, nobody. Somebody will take your thing. Go to make the warm-up. Marcus get injured. Oh, fuck Marcus, no way. So I went to start warm up without even the shoes, because my shoes was on the bus. And the bus was outside the stadium, far away. So I was a mess. But after we play, and it was a great game. Great memory.
You came on, you did the warm up in your socks, didn't you? I remember that.
Yeah,
and then
correct. But it was wet. And after I played the whole game with the wet socks. But I wasn't eating a burger. That was Roger's history of his book, and it's not true.
Yeah.
I was already eating on the breakfast, so I don't eat a burger there.
He said it in the book. That was a lot of our questions that came in this afternoon on our Facebook was...
No burgers.
What kind of burger was he eating in the stand? Okay, we'll forgive you for that one. All right. Well, look, President of Argentina, when is that going to happen? You promised me you'd be president at some stage, and that I could come and be on your committee. So
yeah, I am working with the government now as an advisor, external advisor. But they offer me many times to be candidate, all that stuff. And fairness, Barry, is political is really very difficult. Very difficult, because to be a politician in a developing country, you need to put your values outside your body. And I can't do that unless the environmental change. And it would be not possible for me to be a politician, because it's a lot of things going ahead. And the people, when arrive to the position to have power, they forget why they arrived there. They forget for why in the first stage they want to be there. And that for me would be not possible. I can arrive to a power position and doesn't have the ability to change things really. And at the moment, I supporting a lot of good politicians here that I really believe on them, and they kind of delude me.
Really? Well, at least the rugby team are really leading the way as, you know, I suppose role models for the country and for the kids. And it was inspiring for everyone, I think, at the weekend, and everyone was delighted for Argentina. It's a beautiful country, and it's so, you know, not just for ye, but it's inspiring for everyone around the world to see that passion and something, you know, really good, and good people achieving something they deserve. So looking ahead to this weekend then, Australia on Saturday, what do you reckon?
I think if they recover well from the last game, we have a good chance to win the game.
Freddie, it might be difficult because they rely on such an emotional high. It might be difficult to get to that level of emotion again.
That is really true. That's why we are not a constant team. But again, I believe on the fitness, and I believe that maybe these new guys, they, even if they are emotional there, they can create an emotionality more controlled. Because at the end, you need to control yourself, you need to control the environmental, to be every weekend and try to performance. Basically, or game, as every part of game in professional, is a mentality set mind, then you can control yourself to everything. I think maybe the new generations are different. I don't know, but if you can create the emotionality during the week and you create a positive emotionality, and the team arriving fresh on fitness way, and the fitness coach is from Rosario, from my club, the fitness coach of the Pumas. So I know him and I talk in all the time, and they try to create this kind of environmental, but they can have a good win.
Brilliant. Well, look, we'll be watching here with our Argentina jerseys on.
Well done, Barry. Excellent.
Yeah, we can't wait to watch it again. And look, Feddy, thank you so much. You're a legend, and everyone in Munster, you've a really special place in all their hearts, as do your wife Carlotta and the two boys. So we can't wait till you come back for a game when all this blows over. So we'll leave you back to taking over the presidency whenever that is. And
thank you very much.
Take care, man. Thanks so much.
Guys, it was a pleasure, really pleasure, and I was so pleased to see you guys and to have this kind of memories back. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Fed. Cheers, buddy.
See you, Freddie.
Recently, we launched our Patreon page for our nearest and dearest penguins, and you've been just lovely so far. Please support your Uncle Barney, your Auntie Andy, and Her Holiness Sister Dermy of Assisi. For the price of an onion bhaji,
a Cliff Richard calendar,
5 turnips,
a fidget spinner,
a packet of Weetabix,
a microwave dinner,
conceding a last-minute consolation try to Zebra,
a Simply Red album bought in Tesco's,
a Hunger Buster packet of multi-pack potatoes.
You can help us avoid having to send our kids to work at the age of 5. Thank you.